Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We are live, downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. That was an action-packed first hour. Absolutely flew by. We're going to begin here talking some soccer with the Meat Man, Steve Wyss. You can follow him on X. He's at Meat Man Soccer. And also at Because We Win. He's on the Progressive guest line. Steve, it's good to talk to you today. How are you?
Hey, Pauly. Hey, Mitch. Yeah, great to be here. And let's talk some soccer. A big weekend coming up.
You bet. Biggest match in the EPL. Kind of an ugly-looking card in that sport this weekend. But it is Tottenham against Arsenal. What is your approach here, and how do you want to attack the game with a bet?
I've seen a lot of handicappers tipping the over here with goals. Over 3.5 in some cases, over 2.75. And I do agree with them. I think it should be a match full of goals. But I'm looking for a bit of extra value. So I'm looking at who's going to score the goals. I think Bukayo Saka at Arsenal at plus 190 to score any time is worth a go here. I'll tell you two good reasons why. He has scored more goals against any other team than Tottenham in his whole career. 5 career goals against Spurs in 3 games. So he loves playing against them. This is a massive rivalry. These two teams absolutely hate each other, and he loves scoring against the team he hates the most. He's also on penalty kicks, and there's a long history of a lot of penalties being awarded in this game because it's so high tempo, frantic, and there's fouls. So Bukayo Saka, he's a great player, a massive threat to score from open play anyway. I think plus 190 anytime here is a great option.
Love it. See, I can't be mad if it doesn't get there. It's a great breakdown. He made an awesome case for that to happen. That's Sunday. How about Saturday, Premier League? West Ham against Fulham.
Well, we're just talking off air. It's not a great-looking card overall, really, is it, Pauly?
No.
You know, the Arsenal match aside, it was difficult for me to find too much that I loved in the Premier League, and I'm sticking with another London derby here. Fulham against West Ham. I quite like both teams this year, but I think West Ham have just got a bit more extra quality. And I'm going to take them straight on the money line at plus 190. For those who want to play a bit safer, you could look tie no bet. And then if it ends a draw, you're not going to lose any money. But I think a smaller stake on the money line straight on West Ham is worth a go. They lost this fixture 5-0 last year. Their fans did not like it. And I think they're going to be massively motivated to try and get a result against Fulham. They won't want to be embarrassed by Fulham, who they perceive as the smaller club. It was similar against Crystal Palace. They got a heavy beating against Palace last year. They've come back and actually beat them 2-0 away already this season. So I think West Ham are going to be really motivated. They've had some good signings this summer. And forget the 2 matches they've lost. It was against Aston Villa and Man City. I think we'll let them off that a little bit, even if it was at home. I think West Ham are a better away side anyway. I think they come here and get the job done against Fulham. It's going to be a tight one, but West Ham look a little bit overpriced. On the money line, plus 190.
All right, let's go in order. Now the Championship League, the league below that, Millwall and Luton Town, total of 2.5. You see a lot of goals?
I said when I was on one of your shows that Luton are a blind over bet and in the right circumstances. And look, it's plus money for over 2.5 goals. I cannot ignore that. I can't help myself. I can't resist. Luton, I've said before that they've issues with defence. They've had a really bad start to the season, actually. The second bottom of the table. They're lacking confidence. They conceded 7 goals in 4 games. Millwall have had a surprising number of overs this season, actually. And, I think they've got a change in dynamic there with Millwall. I think they're scoring more goals, but they're also looking dodgy defensively. Just one word of caution here. Someone actually, I was speaking to someone just a couple of hours ago about this. This early kickoff, there's a lot more early kickoff times in the Championship this year due to TV rights.
Right.
And apparently 14 out of 17 of the early kickoffs have gone under 2.5 goals,
Ooh.
which is a little bit worrying. It's an early trend, but I think a lot of that was to do with it was very hot temperatures in August in London, right? Those temperatures are not going to be as high on this Saturday. So I think the weather's had a part to play. It's sapped the players with energy. If these unders keep happening in the early kickoff, I think we're going to have to avoid them if you want the overs, that is.
That's excellent, yeah.
But Luton, I can't help myself. Luton, for me, are an automatic over 2.5 team. So I can't say no, guys. When they're dangling a carrot here, plus 105 or over 2.5 goals, I can't say no.
That's big. Yeah, CBS Sports and Paramount has that TV deal now in that package, And that stuck out to me as well with all that. It's 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 our time with all those early starts and the under trend there as well. I like this club a lot. I had them in futures. They got promoted. They are now in League One. What do you think of Stockport?
Stockport are looking great at the minute, and this is a club that's been on the rise for a few years now. They were down in the doldrums of non-league football for a while over here, but they've come back really strongly. They won their first 3 matches to 0, and they're still unbeaten. And I think they beat Crawley away from home. You could take them on the money line. It's about -150. Nothing wrong with that at all. But I like the Asian handicap. A -1 Asian handicap means if they win by exactly 1 goal, you would just get a complete push. You won't lose anything. If they win by 2-goal margin or more, you will win your bet and it will cash. What I like about Stockport, when they win well. Like 2-0, 3-0, 2-0. They usually get the job done easily. So that's when you want to be taking these teams on the handicap. It's the same with any sport. Certain teams rack up the score, right? Some teams only win by a close margin. Stockport look like the sort of team to me that are going to win matches quite comfortably this year. So I like them -1 Asian handicap away against Crawley, who just lost their most recent home game 3-0 against Barnsley. So not great form heading into it. Stockport show their quality here for me. -1 Asian handicap at +120.
All the money, Pauly and Mitch Wyss and the Sports Betting Network. Our new friend Steve Wyss, the Meat Man, at Meatman Soccer on X. Because We Win podcast at Because We Win. He's on the Progressive guest line. La Liga, how about a total Real Madrid under 2.5?
Yeah, now I'm kind of going against what is going to be a popular bet here, because when everyone sees the Real Madrid team full of stars, the likes of Mbappe now there, Jude Bellingham, etc., everyone thinks goals. So the natural instinct is to take the overs, right? But I think under here, it's Real Sociedad against Real Madrid. Real Sociedad from the Basque region of Spain, a quite passionate part of the country for soccer, and a tough place to go. And they've got a tough defence, Real Sociedad. And I think Real Madrid are going to find life difficult here. Every Real Madrid match has gone under its goal line this year. And that's a massive... and I think it's because these new players, they're settling into the new system. They're lacking rhythm. We're just on the back of an international break, by the way, in Europe and the whole of world soccer. Be very careful this weekend betting in the top leagues. As players have been all over the globe. Fatigue, jet lag can settle in. We've just had a transfer window as well. So some of these big teams might be lacking a bit of rhythm, and I think Real Madrid are going to be one of those. They will happily come here, take a 1-0 win, and get out ASAP. So I think this is going to be a tight game. Real Sociedad have a knack of missing chances. Under 2.5 goals, guys, at -108 is what I like here.
How about a prop, Rafinha with Barcelona, anytime goal?
Yeah, Brazilian. Rafinha. Now, I said some of these players have been globetrotting.
Right.
He's not been, because he was suspended for Brazil's first game in their qualifiers, and then he was rested for the second one. By the way, Brazil, I said on one of the summer shows, worst Brazil I've ever seen in my lifetime.
They just
lost to Paraguay. They just lost to Paraguay. I mean, what is going on there? Rafinha can't be blamed because he wasn't there. So he scored a hat-trick the last time he played. Barcelona won 7-0. They're going to be involved in a match against Girona here. And this should be an over as well, probably over 3.5 goals. Both teams should be scoring. I just think he's going to be nice and fresh. 2-week break. He's going to have been training with the boys in Barca and full of confidence. Plus 240 you can get here as a top price. You've got to check around your books. But I think anything sort of plus 180 or more is well worth a go here for Rafinha. He's a really good player, former Leeds man. I know a lot about him. Such a strong technical player. He cuts in from the right-hand side on the wing. He likes to shoot a lot. He's quite a selfish player, which is good. You sometimes need selfish players in sport because they get the job done. They're individual talents. So, I love riding someone who's confident. He just scored 3 goals in one game. All we need is one from him here at a big, juicy price at plus 240. Rafinha, your anytime scorer.
All right, that was awesome. We covered pretty much everything in the soccer world. You're also an NFL fan. You bet the sport. Tonight's Thursday night football matchup here in the States is going to be coming on at, 1:15 a.m. your time? Are you going to be up? Are you going to have bets to fire on? You're going to go attacking like the second half stuff? Any live wagering, Steve?
I do like NFL. I'm quite a big Ravens fan, actually. I've watched a lot of the games last week late on. Let's say I'm feeling late or on. I might need a Red Bull or two, if I'm allowed to say that. I hope you're not sponsored by Gatorade or someone. But it's yeah, I think it's going to be quite a decent game. I mean, there's some great playmakers on show tonight, right? But Bills at Miami. I like Tyreek Hill. I think he's one of the best players in the NFL. I like watching him. I don't know. What do you reckon, Guy? What's the best bet tonight?
Mitch likes Wilson, anytime touchdown.
Yeah.
I like, this is right up your alley. I like field goals over 3.5 plus money.
Good kicking.
Yeah, right.
Do you know, I'll give you a story. Harry Kane, the England record-breaking scorer, he once said after his soccer career, he wouldn't mind kicking a go in the NFL.
Really?
Harry Kane as a kicker. Yeah, into his 40s. Imagine that. He'd get a decent contract, wouldn't he, stateside? That'd be an interesting one to watch, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Harry Kane became a kicker. Get him in your fantasy. Imagine that, getting him in your fantasy team as your kicker. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I think it's going to be. I mean, there's a crazy record, isn't there? I think the Dolphins have lost 11 of the last 12 against the Bills.
You got it.
Yep. Bills own them.
But so Bills are going to be a popular dog, I'm guessing, with the Bettles. But
probably a popular leg on a teaser as well. So you can follow Steve on X. He's at Meatman Soccer, and also at Because We Win does a great job covering the sport of soccer, like every single league imaginable, as you just heard right now on the Progressive Guest Line. Steve, thanks so much for the time today. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys. It's been great having been on the show, and good luck with the rest of the segment and all your bets for the weekend.
Thanks, buddy.
Be good.
He was awesome in the summer, no doubt, and he was spot on with Brazil. That's why he liked Colombia and a Copa.
And up next, we'll go over numbers to examine today's Major League Baseball card. Plus, if the Mets make the playoffs and the Braves miss, this is the single biggest reason why, and it's not Francisco Lindor.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Horrible loss today in Major League Baseball by the Detroit Tigers of all teams. Huge favorites. Skubal was going. 84 pitches. Took a comebacker. Yanked out of the game. And then the bullpen blew it. He was a $3 favorite in the game. Now they're 3.5 games back in the wild card.
Yeah. Only 2 runs. Problem number 1. You're right. He leaves in the 7th with the 2-1 lead and plus 265. As high as 265 gets there.
All right.
Bad job by the Tigers.
So here is the single biggest reason why. If the Mets make the playoffs and the Braves don't, it's the record between the two teams in one-run games. The Mets are 25-15. That's 625 ball, which is the best overall record in Major League Baseball. They're remaining in SOS, though, 557 winning percentage with their opponents, most difficult schedule in baseball. The Braves are 16-22 in one-run games, 421 baseball. That is the 6th worst record in all of the league. So if the Mets make it, somehow they can navigate this very difficult stretch coming up to close out in the final 15, 16 games. Mm-hmm. They can look back and say, they're pretty fortunate. In those one-run games, Braves did not exactly have it go their way.
Well, it's a dream scenario for Manfred in the league that you got 2 weeks left and you don't know what's going to happen. Still some divisions up in the air and certainly wild cards, and you don't even know who's going to get the 1 seed in these leagues and what's going to happen. Yankees, Cleveland's like 2-1 to get the 1 seed now after what happened.
You know what? We should have been betting that team. You brought it up every single day. And you can't trust the Yankees, can't trust the Orioles. Neither one of these teams can you trust.
Mm-hmm.
So, that number was much higher not that long ago.
Plus 190 now after sweeping the White Sox. So, there's a couple games that stick out to me. See what you think. I know the Brewers are in a funk, but Birdsong has been atrocious for the Giants, and the total's 7.5. Now, Milwaukee got crushed last night by the Giants, and Snell had an easy time of it in the blowout win. They've lost 5 of 7, and the batting average is 181 during that stretch. But Birdsong, 0-5 in his last 6 starts with an ERA of 8 and change. So let's go out here, wrap this up, get the magic number, shrink this. You got the Cubs loss yesterday because you got a tough schedule. They have you mentioned the Mets, Milwaukee, 4th most difficult remaining schedule, and still all those games left against Arizona. So they should be able to get healthy and get right tonight against Birdsong, who has been batting practice, no?
Well, what do you think about the number overall? Not the total, but the money line number on this, with the Brewers hovering around $1.28, $1.30-ish here in the spot.
I'm okay with Frankie. I think he'll be all right. And usually it seems when a team goes crazy, it doesn't happen the next day.
What happened again with the Tigers did it back-to-back days.
Yeah.
Skubal on the mound today, no support whatsoever.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the job done. In this Red Sox-Yankees game, I'll point this out. Put this on your calendar for Saturday. Garrett Cole's going to go. You know what that means? You need to absolutely bet Rafael Devers to hit a home run. Nobody owns another pitcher in Major League Baseball like Rafael Devers owns Garrett Cole. I think he has 8 or 9 career home runs off the guy.
Okay.
But I doubt you can get even 3-1 on that. So Criswell goes against Cortez. O'Neill, 7 of 20 for the Red Sox. 5 home runs, 9 RBIs last 5 games. Also 6 home runs in his last 14 at-bats against lefties. Cortez again taking the hill for the Pinstripers.
Yep. And he's crushing lefties. And, yeah, this one's tough, too. Red Sox have the lead head-to-head on the season. But a lot of guys in this Boston lineup, even though he has good numbers lately, a lot of guys in this Boston lineup have roughed up Cortez.
So can you explain to me how the Red Sox season has possibly gone the way it has? Because the offense was very good for a long time, and the bullpen was unreliable. Then the offense went in a funk. And then starters now recently, last 16 games, 2.47 ERA, and they've allowed 2 or fewer runs in 13 of the 16 games.
They are 18 games under 500 against teams with a winning record.
Yeah. They beat up on their bully baseball is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's why they're going home. Rocker gets the start tonight for the Rangers against the Mariners. It's a 4-game series. They're throwing DeGrom tomorrow.
They are, followed by Scherzer.
That's right. So this is big and no gimme for Seattle, even though they got the win yesterday, which they had to have. This guy is the first player of Indian descent to appear in the major leagues. His dad played in the NFL. He was the 3rd pick in the 2022 draft. So he makes his debut, and we'll see what the kid can go here and see what he can do against Miller. And it was ugly against Arizona. They had nothing. They were blown out in both games. But this is tough. Even if he only goes a couple innings, you're going to see DeGrom and Scherzer after these guys. So I like this that they ruined, even though they won the World Series, They Seattle cost them the division.
That's right.
With what happened.
Sure.
So a little bit of get back, and let's try and ruin your party here.
What do you want to do with this angle of the kid? He's a fireballer. He had 55 Ks compared to 5 walks spread across his minor league games earlier this year. Every pitch that he throws, like the fastball's averaging more than 98 miles an hour. Mariners have been, again, Michael King under the K-prop last night. That's now, 16-4 last 20 games against the Mariners for starting opposing pitchers where they've gone under their K-prop, but this is the first time that anybody's going to see this kid. And the Mariners have been the number 1 strikeout team in baseball all year long. It's been corrected now, for a while, but I saw his K-prop I bet a little 4.5 over. I laid minus 155 on it, expecting him to get to 5 in that game tonight.
Okay.
So there's also player props-wise tonight with the Marlins and the Nationals. McCacken goes for the Marlins against Parker. And the home team here, the Nats, Jacob Young is the guy that you want to focus on. 16 for 33, 14 runs scored, 6 stolen bases in 9 games against Miami this year. There's also this. C.J. Abrams is 2 stolen bases shy of joining Alfonso Soriano as the only 2 Nats with 20-plus dingers and 30-plus stolen bases since the team moved to D.C., so he's going to be on stolen base watch here, and he's been very good at that, obviously, anyway. But and you're not getting any good numbers on these guys who are good at steals at this point of the year. Ellie De La Cruz stole 2 the other day. He was plus 110. I guess maybe you could say anytime he's plus money, you want to take it. But Mitchell Parker's last 10 starts, 2-4 with a 6.5 ERA, but better at home than he's been on the road.
Okay.
So
Giants game over. Look at Rocker props, O'Neill props.
Jacob Young props.
Yep. And what do you want to do? We got a Malinsky special here.
It's the Guardians
So the
game.
Guardians are up to 1,400 to win the division. They just returned home after the 9-game road trip, which went well. And Williams is going, who was just atrocious last time out against the Dodgers. They are every game head-to-head this year between the Rays and Guardians has gone under the total, too.
Well, maybe look at Lane Thomas for the Guardians. Last 10 games, 405 average, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs. Pepio was great against his team back on July 14th. 6 scoreless, 2-0 win. And he's got good stuff anyway. Matt Vasgersian, I think, was either calling or I think he was watching one of his games earlier in the summer. And he texted me. He's like, you need to take a peek at this kid. He is the real deal.
Yeah?
So a guy to watch maybe for next year and beyond.
Nice. You can get the Dodgers plus money, by the way, to get the 1 seed. Second easiest remaining schedule in Major League Baseball.
How many wins they have? Because I know the Phillies are up to, 88 now? The Brewers fell way back. They have no chance now. They're only at 83 wins.
It's 88-87. They're a game back, and they have the second easiest schedule left? Come on.
And the Phillies have a bunch of games with the Mets.
That's true. And that starts, tomorrow? I think that series starts tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would advise everyone to do that.
Okay, so I know that people were panicking in a good way in New York yesterday, and for people who have bet on Francisco Lindor to win the National League MVP. Then what did Ohtani do last night to counter Lindor's day? Hit a home run, stolen base. He's now got 47 home runs, 48 stolen bases. I don't know how you can possibly say that Lindor, I mean, even...
Like, what if he does 54-54?
Sure.
Or 50, I mean, that's possible.
At some point, put the betting slip aside. Be realistic about this. Lindor should have no prayer to win the MVP. Stop it.
He's down to 4-1?
It sounds so silly.
Yeah.
You need to knock it off. Grow up a little bit with this argument. I can even put away tickets that I have made. I didn't even have the Gobert thing. You had Wembanyama last year. I was screaming it from the mountaintops. Get Gobert off. This is absurd what's going on. And also, Skeens, I think, is going to...
That's right.
He can do this.
Yeah, that's right. As low as plus 240. Also, we had another moose here. It was 2-1 Astros in the 8th inning. The total was 8.5, and it went over. The Astros got 4 in the bottom, and they put one across on Hader in the 9th. 6-3 final. Good God. If you're the type of player that's looking to get down $10,000 or more on an NFL game, you want the best price in the market. And if you're looking to get your in-play accepted instantly, Sport Trade, the app that's going to change sports betting. $4 lines instead of the typical $10. Instant in-game betting. Perfect for those who want a premium betting experience. Sport Trade is live in New Jersey, Colorado, Iowa, and coming to Arizona and Virginia soon. Download Sport Trade, use code VEASAN. 10% cash back on each wager in your first week. Got to be 21. Sport Trade, code VEASAN. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, text or call 1-800-GAMBLER. Sport Trade, code VEASAN.
Before today, Skubal entered the game against Colorado with a mark of 20-4 overall, with a 2.29 ERA in 33 starts since the beginning of September last year. And now he takes, I think he'll probably be okay. I don't know. We were on the air basically when it happened, or right before it happened anyway. And so I think he's going to be fine, but I don't know. I mean, if they're out of the race, they keep pitching the guy. Up next.
He's done enough.
Yeah, Thursday Night Football. Josh Allen has done this in every single game against Miami in his career. Details on that coming up next on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The smooth bet of the week is presented by Larceny Wheated Bourbon. Welcome back. This is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Lock in a win and seize tonight. Bardstown, Kentucky, 46% alcohol by volume. Think wisely, drink wisely. So the timing of this game tonight and the news that we had with potential running backs being banged up, Pauly, is the exact opposite of what we had going into Monday night, when it came down at about 6:45 p.m. Eastern time that Christian McCaffrey was going to be out for the 49ers. Then it's scramble mode. Let's get bets in. Books are also taking stuff off the board. Well, we knew that Mostert was banged up immediately when the week started, right after the game on Sunday. We also knew that Achane was a little bit dinged and he may or may not miss. Mostert was ruled out. Achane was like daytime, maybe game time decision overall. And then so what do you do with running backs like Jeff Wilson for the Dolphins and Jalen Wright? Do you get involved with their bets? And numbers were crashing. Zach Cohen, VSiN.com, wrote about this game earlier in the week, and he said his best bet was Jeff Wilson plus 240 anytime touchdown. Well, things have changed now because Mostert's definitely out. Achane's going to play, but Wilson's going to get a split here in the backfield.
And Charch is right. What if something happens to that ankle?
I know. Very injury prone, as he said.
You got problems with that Lamborghini.
So earlier today, I bet Jeff Wilson at plus 145. Books were all over the map on him. That was the best number I could find for anytime touchdown. Plus 110 right now, DraftKings. I'd say plus money is still good. You might be able to get a little bit higher than that if you take a peek elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Love it. I am going with the kicking game. And this went 13-3. in week 1. And the average price on the winner was plus 120. And that is made field goals.
You went back and found all those average prices. Incredible.
That was Chernoff. Chernoff found the average price.
He did.
Yeah.
On every single one of them.
Yeah. So I've been all over the kickoff, right?
Yeah.
And that movement, and that's $1.55 tonight. Oh, things have changed. We sat here a week ago, and it was plus 280. Now it's minus 155 in a span of a week. Will the opening kickoff be a touchback?
I need a glass of this larceny right now to go back.
Yeah.
How we did not bet those at the time.
Yeah. So that how things have changed, right? Everyone, well, at least the bookmakers were way off on that. They just thought everyone just blasting it in the end zone. In 19 of the first 24 kickoffs, touchback. So let's start there with $1.55 on the yes. So then the kicking game. Made field goals week 1, 2019, 48, 48, 47, 49, 59, 68.
I can't believe that number.
68. And this is what I cannot believe. More so, 22 of 23 from 50-yard plus. Bang. And most of them right down the middle. So over 3.5 plus 130 tonight is where I'm looking. And whether it's the dink and dunk and going conservative once we get into field goal range and 2 kickers you like with big legs, we'll go over that tonight plus 3.5. And again, not only did it go 13-3, that prop week 1 and the average price plus 120, the 2 losers had 3. So it's been bombs away and all about the kickers so far, with the lousy quarterback play, with the dink and dunk, and the lack of touchdown passes.
You know what?
So
I think we totally disagree with this because you want the kicking game now to be even more difficult than.
I thought it was too easy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to embrace the exceptional job by the kickers.
Well, they did a great job, right?
And you are here by betting it, so by banking on this being a thing again.
Yeah, right. I also love no score first 5.5 minutes if the Bills get the ball. But I still like that bet as well, and we'll see what transpires. I don't know the McDaniel.
There was a bad beat in the game on Monday night with that.
Yeah.
The fumble punched out by
Absolutely.
Fred Warner.
No kidding. Tell me about it. Feeling lucky? Pop Punk? Put your money in Larceny Weed and Bourbon where your mouth is. Whether you enjoy sipping it straight or mixing it in a cocktail, the true pros know. Larceny raises the stakes in flavor with every pour. It won double gold at the 2024 San Francisco World Spirits Competition. Don't gamble with what's in your glass. Enjoy smoother sips no matter the spread. Seize tonight with Larceny Bourbon. Find a bottle near you. LarcenyBourbon.com. Follow the Money, brought to you by Larceny Bourbon. 46% alcohol by volume. Think wisely, drink wisely.
It's a beautiful looking bottle.
Yeah.
Need to get one of those at my house soon.
No doubt.
So there's also this with the game tonight. Josh Allen, 11-2 in his career against Miami. 4-1 versus McDaniel as the coach. Both of those 2 losses, by the way, were in Miami. Mm-hmm. And you brought this up earlier.
Yeah, it was 500 yards to 215.
And they blew the game.
Yes.
That was impossible. The Dolphins, on the flip side, are 14-4 with McDaniel as the coach, as a home favorite. That is the 3rd best record in the NFL under that scenario in that time span. Pretty good. Allen passed for 10.1 yards per attempt against Arizona. He has 300-plus passing yards in 5 straight games against Miami. Also, 36 touchdown passes in 13 career games. And he's had multiple touchdown passes in every single one of them. That blows my mind. Tua did not have good games against Buffalo last year.
Yeah.
And as Charch was saying earlier on the program, the way to approach this defense is not in the air. Again, Tyreek Hill, his most receiving yards ever in one game in a Miami jersey against Buffalo is 82. But it's on the ground. It's to get him with, and they have a nice stable of running backs. I would tell you that even if Achane gets hurt, Wilson could be the bell cow. I'm excited to see Jalen Wright. I think he's going to be really, really good. I think it was a good deep find in the 4th round from him, and I think he can be a player in the NFL.
Maybe 2.5 is a gift. I don't know. But I do agree with Sal, pal. You got to have this game. And if you want to win this division to be taken seriously, you got to win this game. Number 1, exercise the demons and beat Buffalo. Number 2, I think you have a better team. And what Buffalo lost. And this new and improved, we think, Miami defense certainly did a good job in week 1. They held Jacksonville to 17 points and shut them out in the second half, and they were 2 of 11 on 3rd down. I like that. I love what they did stopping them on the 4th and 1, backed up in their own territory when Ramsey made an unbelievable tackle also. So with this offense and the weapons that you have, and even though guys are out, I want to see. They couldn't get the rushing game going against Jacksonville, but I trust McDaniel here, and I know I've been to Miami in August, and it was brutal. But you're talking 90 degrees and 77%, 76% humidity. Maybe that's a factor, but you got to win a game like this. You have to. You're at home, short week. Now, it hasn't gone well for the favorites in this spot, but this is a game you have to have, and I will point out that in the prime time so far, the favorite is 4-0 cash and tickets, so you have that angle too. But this is one I got to have. I got to win this game if I want to be taken seriously, and I want to be a contender and win this division if I'm Miami.
Again, if you missed Paul Charchian on the show an hour ago, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer, he's big on Khalil Shakir this year. He was last week, and he had a great breakdown of why he likes him again tonight. So he ran 21 routes week 1. That was behind Keon Coleman, who ran 27. That was 90% of the dropbacks by Josh Allen in that game. Shakir was number 2 on the list. Miami allowed 11.8 yards per target to Jacksonville wide receivers in week 1. That was 29th in the league with a 75% completion rate, which was 28th in the league. So he made a case because of the coverage guy in the slot is so bad for Miami that Shakir can have a really good game tonight. I'm on board. I did it last week. I did the ladder bet with him. It missed. I'm going to bet him again this week.
I got 40 yards.
Yeah.
With that prop, but
sure.
Certainly what's in store and what he did lighten them up in the game last year.
And also, I know if you look at the box score from last week and you see Dalton Kincaid, he had 2 targets in the game, and that was it. Plus, Miami only allowed 1 catch for 4 yards to Jaguar tight end Evan Engram, who's really, really good. Kincaid ran a majority of the routes in that game last week at tight end. Like 83%, I believe, is the number. So he's going to be out there running routes again tonight, and I know what Miami did against Engram. And again, I love that dude. I have him in multiple fantasy leagues. I think he's really, really good and one of the best weapons for Trevor Lawrence. Kincaid, I think, is going to be at least a little bit of a factor tonight. And Josh Allen has had a tendency to go to tight ends when he's throwing the ball, near the goal line. I pointed out earlier how Dawson Knox was like an early target in games. He was also like a guy I love to bet on for first touchdown scorer. I took a slice on Kincaid tonight anytime and first touchdown at 16-1. I'm certainly not going to panic over his week 1 output.
Yeah, I think Coleman should get to 40 yards too. And there's some great quick picks and same game parlays that are available up at various places too. And I know one we played, Allen touchdown, 50 yards rushing, Hill touchdown, Hill 70 yards rushing. That is 71. It's been a hectic, chaotic week, though, for the Dolphins. And now you got a game on Thursday. Does that play a role? I don't know. Tyreek Hill's on CNN. He's doing interviews. He's all over what should happen to the cop and all. Yeah. That's something that maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's a distraction. But certainly he had no problems on Sunday after what happened. And the guy's in handcuffs. The next thing you know, he's got 130 yards and a touchdown, the reason they win.
Yep.
I played Smith first touchdown, but I also would like to see Tua spread it around more. He threw to 3 guys in the first. It was Hill, Waddle. Waddle's only 60, but it was yards. It was Hill, Waddle, and Achane.
All right. Up next, professional sports bettor Brad Powers is going to join the program. We'll get his look at some of the marquee games in college football and a rundown of some of his best bets, what he still likes on the board, as we speak next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. We're live in downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. We'll hit college football here for the next 2 segments as professional sports bettor Brad Powers joins the program. He is on the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on X. Great follow at BradPower7, and the website is BradPowersports.com. Brad, good afternoon. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
You bet. Let's begin with the game that we have tonight. The weeknight games this week are phenomenal. And we have Arizona State playing at Texas State. Some line movement through the money line. Arizona State was a small favorite. Now Texas State laying 2.5 points here. Were you a part of that? Do you agree with the move?
I'm not a part of it. I'm not shocked by it. I mean, it is a really tough spot for Arizona State. A short week traveling against what could be the biggest home game in the history of Texas State football. So in that, I'm not shocked. I mean, I'm seeing some threes pop at a few shops. That's when it starts becoming surprising to me. My power ratings say Arizona State should have been the favorite, and it was much closer to the opening number. So 3 is where I probably make a bet, and not a big bet on Arizona State. But I think the more intriguing part is, looking at, what a win would do for Texas State. And the reality is, I just looked at my projections. I mean, this is their toughest remaining game. So they win this one, obviously got to upgrade the power rating. I mean, there's a good chance they're at least a touchdown favorite in every game from this point forward. So automatically, their playoff odds, I could tell you this, if there's a book that still has the playoff odds opening, it still has that up throughout tonight's game, and they win it, I think you make a Texas State to make the playoffs, because they would have the most likely chance of any Group of 5 team to run the table.
Love that breakdown. You have 16-1, and they're right now 6-1 at Will Hill and Caesars. So that's a great breakdown. How about, is Arizona State your biggest upgrade, though, at this point? I'm with you. I'd give it to Scatterbo, who's just averaging 300 yards rushing a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be the game plan tonight. I mean, look, you only got a few days to prep, so you keep it simple. And Scatterbo's the best player on the field, in my opinion. If you don't know who he is, if you're like an old school throwback type, he's that guy. He's been doing it for years, back to his FCS days. So I think that's got to be the formula here for Arizona State. Line it up and give it to him with some play action with Levitt, who can use his legs a little bit, rolling out of the pocket. So yeah, if you want Scatterbo rushing yards, I mean, 100 seems a little light in my opinion, especially when I think he's going to touch it 20 plus times tonight. So I do like over in that one as far as the props market.
I'm shopping right now. Yeah, it's as low as 100.5, minus 108. I'm seeing the highest number I see is 102.5. Is there any concern? And I went back and watched a lot of the highlights today. He looked phenomenal in that game against an SEC team. I get it, it's Mississippi State, but still, that's beside the point. He now, on a short turnaround, had all those carries, maybe banged up a little bit. Any concern there at all?
It could be. I mean, and that might be part of the why there's move on Texas State. I'll say this: I'm not asking, bet the farm, the house, the wife, and the kids on it. But I don't dabble too much in props, but that seems a little low to me. I'm not a big fan. I will say this. I mean, as much as I've been impressed with Arizona State defensively, I knew Scatterbo was a known commodity. Offensive line's improved. Levitt doesn't wow me as a passer.
No, that's true.
Again,
yeah.
First road start, I'm not throwing it too much with him. So again, even if Scatterbo's not 100%, I still try to run him as much as I can.
I know you like McLeod too, and he's great for Texas State. Came over from JMU.
Terrific quarterback.
Yep. Okay, so great call by you. This goes back to Bet the Board podcast on your breakdown in the summer. You said they might not win as many games, but they're going to be a better team, and this could be the best UNLV team, I think you said, in 30, 40 years. So how about this, that if they can go to Kansas and win, great call on UNLV. It's early, but off to a good start. But what do you think of the game Friday night with UNLV traveling to Kansas?
Yeah, I mean, if they're to win, then, replace everything I just said about Texas State and insert UNLV, because UNLV would, and still with the game against Syracuse, could have the best, portfolio when it's all said and done. But I don't like their chances this week. I think Kansas losing outright to Illinois was probably the worst case scenario, in my opinion, for UNLV, especially. I mean, go rewatch that game. Kansas should have won the game. I mean, they were -3 in turnovers. There's a couple other fluky things that happened in that game. They stopped on 4th down a couple of times. So I think they're locked and loaded. The market says that. We've seen a lot of Kansas money come in, short week. Obviously, the two teams played each other in the bowl game here just a couple games ago. UNLV played tough. I thought played well, but you saw Kansas clearly superior. So I did bet Kansas this week in this game.
All right, one more game then on Friday night. How about Arizona catching a big number here, 7 or 7.5 against Kansas State? I know I've heard a lot of people make the case and say, well, Manhattan on a Friday night, you can bet against that all you want. I can't do it. So what do you think of this number here in the spot for Arizona?
I haven't bet it yet. I'd certainly lean home team, though, Kansas State.
Okay.
It's hoping to get greedy and want 7 key number. I want to lay 6.5. Haven't been overly impressed with either team. Neither team's covered a point spread yet. I guess I'm a little less impressed with Arizona. I mean, you look at them, the cumulative score of them at the half of their first 2 games against New Mexico, when they were a 4-touchdown favorite, and last week against Northern Arizona as a 5-touchdown favorite. Their opponents 34, Arizona 33. That's not a good look. I got to get out to a faster start than that if they're going to keep this one close. Kansas State, I mean, could have easily lost though to Tulane last week. In fact, I mean, that was a bad beat if you had a Tulane money line. They were fortunate. So I think you're going to hear me say this as we break down some other games. Really good data point. I'm going to figure out what both of these teams are going to be in 2024 with this game.
Good point in your newsletter. Alabama has only played 4 true non-conference road games since 2007. Give me a break. But you laid 7 at DraftKings in the summer. Whew. So what do you think of Bama going to Madison?
Well, I like that ticket, but no one cares about that. I mean, what do you do with the current number? I haven't done anything this week yet. I need 17 to even consider playing back. Not that I'm overwhelmed with what I saw from Alabama. That was a misleading final, to say the least. If you're just looking at the score, they played close to expectation against South Florida. No, they didn't. In fact, they were probably fortunate to be ahead in that game with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So got to downgrade Alabama from last week. But Wisconsin, to me, this is not your typical Wisconsin team. I think a lot of the Wisconsin teams of the last 30 years, I would love Wisconsin in this spot.
Yeah.
But I don't see a dominating offensive line. I certainly don't see an All-American running back in this year's lineup. And I see a quarterback in Tyler Van Dyke. To me, it doesn't look 100% healthy. So I'm sure they'll slug it up, and it'll be a slugfest for a while. But I think sooner or later, Williams, the 5-star freshman, will flash for Alabama, make a big play. Jam Miller, Jalen Milroe on a broken down play, scrambling. I just think Alabama pulls away in the end, but I don't think there's a great value here at the current number 16.
All right. Well, what do you make of this number now? It's updated from earlier in the week. It keeps coming down. You're a Notre Dame fan. After that, just ugly performance and loss at home last week as 4 touchdown favorites. Some books have it now as the Fighting Irish 9.5-point favorites on the road against Purdue.
So I bet Purdue a couple different times. I bet Purdue on the money line. But I certainly think Purdue's live here. But I'll say this: I'm not sure that Riley Leonard's going to play. So I think the line's going to crash, obviously. And you want a hot take or a different point of view? I think I'll be interested in Notre Dame then, because I think the market's going to overreact to that news. And I don't think Riley Leonard's worth that much to the backup, because when you can't throw down the field, you have 0 touchdown passes on the season so far. You have 1 completion of 20 yards. I think the backup, Steve Angeli, who I've seen a ton in the last year, including start of the bowl game, I actually thought at times Angeli played better than Sam Hartman did last year. The offense moved the football, was more efficient. So after the Leonard news, I think breaks, and I think it'll break here in the next 24 to 48 hours. I'm gonna lay it with Notre Dame here.
What are you hoping for? What do you think that number comes down to?
6.5.
6.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to be greedy.
All right.
When the news hits, you know how that screen is.
Sure.
Yeah,
is it
right.
going to stay? Probably not. But, I mean, sometimes it's already baked in a little bit, and then the news hits, like the Cam Rising stuff this week. Well, it's already baked in, and then, it gets announced, and then it just keeps trickling down.
What do you think he's worth? Cam Rising.
6 or 7 points, although Utah State's really bad. I mean, that's a situation. In a regular game, 6 or 7 points. In this one, they line it up and run right at Utah State.
Well, let's look ahead to next week. What would you? Well,
you're supposed to play.
I don't know if you want to give anything away on the air here, but Utah at Oklahoma State with no Cam Rising next week.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State probably in that -6 range.
Yeah. Right, I mean,
I take them. Although they were thoroughly outplayed. They had no business beating Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean,
they got thoroughly
that's the thing,
outplayed.
Guys. I mean, people want my takes for I've seen so much disparity as far as, one really good data point. Oklahoma State looked good against South Dakota State,
right,
an FCS opponent they took care of. And then the next week they should have lost outright at home as a double-digit favorite against Arkansas. But that's across the board. Penn State, really good week 1, not so good week 2. Alabama, we just mentioned that. There's just a ton of those cases. Not just Notre Dame's the main one because they actually lost the game, but there's a ton of Oklahoma almost lost at Houston. So I need consistency. This week is the data point that kind of hopefully gives me that clear picture of what these teams are about.
Okay, so we have a couple of other big games to get into this weekend. One team, highly regarded coming into the year, has a grand total of 0 data points, yet they keep taking money, and it's a rivalry game. We'll get Brad's opinion on it coming up next here on VSiN.